I just got back from watching the Backrooms, and it was a super fun time. The movie follows a guy named Clark, who's a struggling furniture store owner, who discovers a mysterious portal in his basement. This portal leads to an infinite, liminal space of yellow-walled rooms. So Clark ends up going missing in the backrooms, and his therapist tries to save him, so she goes into the backrooms, only to discover a terrifying world. So now let me get into my thoughts about this movie, and it's just my opinion, so if you don't agree, that's okay. Let's start with the positives. The atmosphere is great. They really capture the essence of the backrooms, like in the videos and the pictures that you see online. It's really eerie, it's really creepy, and there are so many sets of rooms that look amazing. Another thing I loved about this movie is the cinematography and the shots. I think they look fantastic. It was probably my favorite part about the movie. Just a great looking movie overall. The sets are great. They just look so clean, so good. I love them. I also really like the scene where Clark brings his employees to the back rooms to record videos in there. And so he ends up bringing them to a tunnel. And so they tie this dude up with a rope so he doesn't get lost. And they send him down the tunnel. And there is some creepy stuff down there. There's some eerie stuff. It's a very creepy room. And there's an entity down there. And so they end up pulling this guy back up because he freaks out. But the monster grabs the rope and brings him back down, and everyone else comes down with them. That was a pretty scary and fun scene. I wish they built on that more, because they kind of cut after that to the therapist, when there was some interesting stuff going on there. Now let's talk about things that I thought could be better in the movie. When Clark first discovers the back rooms, this movie kind of becomes a walking simulator, where we kind of just walk from room to room for a decently long time. It felt like 15 minutes of just walking through yellow rooms, and this would be cool if it like advanced the plot a little bit, but it's kind of like just walking through the back rooms just to walk through the back rooms and see weird shit like, oh, that chair is upside down and that shoe is in the floor. Okay? Like, I get it. It's weird. We don't need 15 minutes of it. Another thing that I thought could be better is the character motivations for why they're even going in the back rooms in the first place. Clark kind of just goes to his therapist and explains to her the back rooms, and she doesn't believe him, obviously. And so he's like, fine, I'll prove it to you. And it kind of just happens out of nowhere, and then he just goes back with his employees and tries to record videos there. And it's like, that's the whole reason we're in the back rooms right now. It didn't feel like, oh my God, we need to stay in the back rooms because we have to achieve this. It's like, let's go just because we can record videos of it and show my therapist that it's real. Like, okay. Okay. I also don't understand why the therapist joined in on the back rooms. I guess she just didn't hear from Clark for a few days, so she decides to go to the basement he was talking about and just hops in the back rooms looking for him. Like, are you getting paid for this? No. I guess she's just doing it out of the goodness of her heart to try to find Clark. That motivation actually makes more sense to me. I guess it's just the way she finds the back rooms by sneaking into his store and then going in the basement. That's what kind of took me out of it a little bit. But the motivation, I think, is solid. Another thing that slightly disappointed in me is they got a very good actor in this movie. He plays the hybrid human alien in Alien Romulus, and he looked so scary in that movie. So when I heard this guy was in the movie, I got very excited. And yeah, he's 7'7", and he looks all of that in this movie. He is huge in this movie. I just wish he looked a little scarier, you know? He kind of just looks like a mascot. But I guess he does represent Clark in like the deformed way that the Backrooms does. But yeah, just wish he looked a little scarier. Little nitpick. I do want to say though, I do love the weird stuff going on in the dinner scene when he's kind of explaining to the therapist what the backrooms is. This weird entity runs into a wall. This other guy's flicking the lights. This other guy's got like missing some of his stomach. Yeah, just weird stuff going on. I'm always a sucker for weird stuff in movies. I think that's why I like Obsession so much. So yeah, that was a cool scene. However, I think that scene does fall short a little bit in like the emotional part of it was trying to do. Because in this scene, the therapist kind of tells him off and says like, everything bad in your life is your fault. I guess it was something she was hiding from him. And it's supposed to feel really emotional, but however, we spend so much time just walking around in the back rooms, just looking at rooms and stuff, that there's not enough time to actually develop this storyline. So it just kind of like, you don't really care. It doesn't feel emotional. The acting performance is great, but the storyline was not developed at all. The thing I've learned is that showing over telling is better. So when Clark is just telling his therapist these bad things that are happening in his life, the audience doesn't really feel it. However, if you show like his wife leaving him and we could see the pain that that brings him, that would actually make this scene more emotional. So yeah, I think that scene lacked a little bit of the emotional hit it was going for. I also don't understand why he went so crazy. Is it because he's in the backrooms for so long that he kind of lost his mind? Because the whole point he went in the backrooms is to prove to his therapist he's not crazy, and then he's in the backrooms and he's crazy. Does he just lose himself? Let me know in the comments below because I'm a little confused about that. I wish instead of walking around so much in the back rooms, we got to see his progression into like madness and him losing his mind. And then that moment in the dinner scene when we know he's crazy now would just hit even harder because you saw this man's descension into madness. I think this movie does a good job though, of being very uncanny. Like seeing the entities, they look creepy. The things they do, they're creepy. But yeah, I like that. One thing I didn't understand about this movie too is the ending. Please drop me an explanation on this. Like what happened to her after? I understand there's an entity now that is remembering her wrong and so she looks all weird, but where is she? Who is that guy talking to her at the end? Who are all these people? We don't really get many questions answered. For a movie that's decently long, I think they use too many scenes to just fill up space of seeing cool backroom stuff, which is cool, but I think we're missing out on building a cool story around this concept, man. So it kind of hurts. It kind of disappointing a little bit. I also think the intro kind of had no point other than to show more rooms in the back rooms. Let me know how that relates to the main story. Is that someone working with the guy interviewing her at the end? But he just ends up dying anyway. Like, I don't understand what the purpose of that was. I know a lot of horror movies do it where they kill someone or like show something creepy immediately in the movie. And I don't think it works too much unless it's setting up something like Weapons. Weapons sets up the whole movie with a creepy scene and the movie wouldn't be able to go on without that scene because it's the whole premise. This movie could definitely go on without the intro. I don't understand the intro other than show more backrooms. So yeah, that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like. Let me know what you thought about the backrooms. I thought it was pretty fun. Obviously, I wanted some things to be better about it, but at the end of the day, it was a fun experience. I'll see you in the next one.